Mary's eyes filled with tears as she looked at her two beloved cats, sharing one final hug. They had grown inseparable over the years, but one of them, Max, was really old and sick now and needed to be put to sleep. The vet waited patiently as Max shared his last moments with his best friend, Ollie. But during their final goodbye, he noticed something strange. What was the vet seeing that changed everything? Welcome to Wonderbot Animals. When he finally realized what was going on, he knew that he needed to take action immediately. He just hoped that it wasn't too late yet. At first, both Dr. Anderson and Mary had thought that the hugging cats were adorable to see. "I knew they loved each other, but they've never hugged as much as over the last few days," Mary told the vet as she wiped her tears with her sleeve. "I think they both know what is going to happen." The vet just nodded, and they sat in silence for a moment, just looking at the two cats. Max continued hugging Ollie, and they were both licking each other and purring softly. After some time, the vet shrugged and nodded at Mary, and she knew that it was time. She got up and slowly tried to pick up Ollie, but Max held his paws around his friend's body and simply wouldn't let go of him. With tears in her eyes, Mary told him, "I'm sorry, buddy, but you have to let go." And she gently lifted his paws and pulled Ollie away from him. She quickly put Ollie into his carrier and brought him outside of the room, where her friend sat in the waiting room. She didn't want Ollie to be in the same room as Max while they sedated him. "Thank you," she whispered as she handed the carrier over to her friend, Samantha, and she hurried back into the exam room where Dr. Anderson and Max were waiting for her. Max was meowing. He was very restless, making various attempts to jump off the table. Mary thought that he was just afraid, but Dr. Anderson slowly started to realize what was actually going on. He had been observing the two cats for a while now, and he finally put two and two together and saw the full picture. "How could I have missed this?" he asked himself, and he knew that he needed to hurry. However, he told himself that he could take action after finishing Max's appointment. He owed it to this beautiful and lovely cat to give him a peaceful and respectful ending. So, Dr. Anderson only asked Mary, "Will Ollie wait outside until we are finished?" and breathed a sigh of relief when she nodded. He proceeded with the scheduled procedure, and when it was finished, he left Mary alone in the room with her beloved pet to say her final goodbye. "You can stay here for as long as you need. I'll be in my office if you need me," he told her. Mary was grateful for getting to spend some more time with Max alone, and she sat there next to him, reminiscing about all the precious moments they had together. She softly cried and talked to Max as if he was still alive, and she did not even realize how much time had passed until she heard a knock on the door. She quickly glanced at the clock and realized that half an hour had already passed. Come in," she called out as she quickly got up and grabbed her coat and bag, getting ready to leave. Upon seeing that it was Samantha who had knocked on the door, she let out a nervous chuckle and apologized for keeping her friend waiting for so long. But Samantha's face didn't show impatience. It showed worry. No, that's all right. Samantha began, and she looked around the room nervously. "Have you seen Dr. Anderson?" she asked. In response, Mary shook her head and asked why, raising an eyebrow in confusion. "Oh, I'm sure it's nothing," her friend blurted out, and she quickly disappeared, leaving Mary alone with Max once again. She looked at her beloved pet one last time and whispered, "Goodbye, my sweet Max. I love you." It hurt, but she knew that it was better this way. He had been in so much pain the last months, and it was time. She took a deep breath and finally left the room, expecting to find Samantha and Ollie waiting for her there. However, she didn't see them anywhere. Stepping out of the room, Mary's confusion grew as she didn't see Samantha and Ollie anywhere. She approached the busy receptionist, asking if they had seen her friend leave with the cat. The receptionist, swamped with calls and paperwork, barely looked up as she responded with a quick, "No." Mary's worry deepened, pushing her to take immediate action. Mary began a thorough search of the vet clinic. She walked down the hallways, peering into each room and asking every staff member she encountered about Samantha and Ollie. Her questions were met with shakes of the head or shrugs of uncertainty. Not a single person had seen her friend or her cat since she'd walked back into the exam room. Determined, Mary stepped outside into the clinic's garden, a place she had often found peace. Today, it was different. Her calls for Samantha echoed unanswered. She checked behind bushes and benches, anywhere Samantha might have taken Ollie to calm him down, but found no sign of them. The garden, once a refuge, now seemed vast and empty. Returning inside, Mary's resolve hardened. She extended her search to less frequented areas of the clinic, including the storage rooms and the staff break area. She opened every door, her calls for Samantha growing more urgent. Despite her extensive search, there was no trace of Samantha or Ollie, driving Mary's concern into action. Mary decided to widen her search beyond the immediate areas she had already checked. She spoke to the clinic's security, asking to review the parking lot surveillance footage. While waiting for assistance, she planned her next steps, contemplating places outside the clinic where Samantha might have gone with Ollie. The absence of clear answers propelled her to leave no stone unturned. As Mary expanded her search, Samantha appeared, looking anxious. She explained that Dr. Anderson had taken Ollie away urgently, but didn't say why. Mary listened, her worry intensifying, as Samantha shared her concern and confusion about the sudden disappearance. Together, they agreed to find Dr. Anderson and Ollie, their determination uniting them in this unexpected turn of events. Samantha expressed her regret for not paying closer attention to Ollie and Dr. Anderson. She led Mary through the clinic, showing her where she last saw them together. They checked the exam rooms, the back entrance, and even the parking lot, hoping to find any sign of where they might have gone. Samantha's guilt was evident as she recounted her steps, wishing she had noticed sooner. Together, Mary and Samantha methodically retraced Samantha's steps around the clinic. They asked staff members if they had seen Dr. Anderson leaving with Ollie and checked areas not previously searched by Mary alone. Their search was thorough, leaving no room unchecked, their combined efforts making the task seem less daunting, yet no trace of Dr. Anderson or Ollie was found. If you're touched by Mary's determination to find Ollie and the bond between Max and Ollie, please subscribe to Wonderbot Animals. Join our community to discover more heartfelt stories that showcase the incredible bonds between humans and their pets. They started calling Dr. Anderson's cell phone, leaving messages that mixed concern with a plea for information. They also sent texts, hoping for a quick reply that would lead them to Ollie. Expanding their efforts, they considered other places Dr. Anderson might have taken Ollie, discussing whom else they could contact for information. Their attempts to reach out were persistent, reflecting the urgency of their search. As hours passed, the urgency of finding Ollie grew. Mary and Samantha worked together seamlessly, their worry for Ollie's well-being driving them forward. They made a list of all possible places Dr. Anderson could have gone and planned to visit each one. Their collaboration showed their dedication to Ollie's safety, each action taken with a hopeful determination to bring him back safely. Back inside, Mary and Samantha approached the receptionist again, this time with a sense of urgency. They asked detailed questions about Dr. Anderson's departure, trying to piece together any clue that could lead them to Ollie. The receptionist, sensing their desperation, took a moment to recall the events more clearly, hoping to provide some assistance in their frantic search. The receptionist remembered Dr. Anderson mentioning an urgent situation, though she couldn't recall the specifics. This piece of information, vague as it was, provided a new direction for Mary and Samantha. They thanked her and quickly devised a plan to follow this slender lead, hopeful it would bring them closer to finding Ollie and understanding the vet's actions. They moved swiftly to the parking lot, scanning for Dr. Anderson's car among the rows of vehicles. Their search was methodical, with each car checked and cross-referenced against what they knew of his vehicle. Despite their thorough approach, the realization that his car was nowhere to be found added to their growing concern for Ollie's whereabouts. The empty parking lot was a stark reminder of the seriousness of their situation. Mary and Samantha stood for a moment, absorbing the reality that Dr. Anderson had indeed left the clinic. The absence of his car meant they had to consider broader possibilities of where he could have taken Ollie, further expanding the scope of their search. Determined not to give up, Mary and Samantha returned inside to gather their thoughts and plan their next moves. They listed all possible locations Dr. Anderson might go with Ollie, including other clinics or emergency veterinary services. With a renewed sense of purpose, they prepared to extend their search beyond the immediate vicinity, driven by their unwavering commitment to finding Ollie and uncovering the truth. Mary and Samantha immediately used their phones to call friends and share posts on social media, asking for any sightings of Dr. Anderson or Ollie. They described Ollie's appearance in detail and shared a photo, requesting their network to spread the word. Their fingers moved quickly over their screens, sending messages and making calls, hopeful for any lead that might come their way. The online community responded with support, sharing Mary and Samantha's posts and adding their messages of hope. Local pet owners and clinics started to recognize Ollie's photo, promising to keep an eye out. This digital rally of support showcased the community's willingness to help in times of need, strengthening Mary and Samantha's resolve to find their beloved cat. Not relying solely on digital efforts, they also visited nearby animal clinics and shelters, inquiring about Ollie and Dr. Anderson. At each stop, they showed Ollie's picture, asking if anyone had seen him or knew where Dr. Anderson could have taken him. Their search was exhaustive, spanning the areas around the clinic, driven by their determination to find Ollie. Their social media outreach grew as they posted updates and continued to engage with the community. They used hashtags to widen their search, connecting with animal rescue groups and local news pages. The response was overwhelming, with strangers sharing their posts and offering help, a testament to the power of community in times of crisis. Despite the growing support, immediate leads were scarce. Yet, Mary and Samantha refused to let despair set in. Fueled by their love for Ollie, they reviewed responses, followed up on possible sightings, and planned their next day of searching. Their unwavering determination underlined every action, a clear message that they would not stop until they found Ollie. A breakthrough came when a pet store owner called Mary. He reported seeing Dr. Anderson buying specific medical supplies that were unusual for a general vet visit. This unexpected clue injected a fresh wave of hope into their search, guiding them towards a new direction. Mary and Samantha quickly thanked the owner and discussed how this information could narrow their search to specialized clinics. With the pet store's clue in mind, they began identifying clinics capable of providing specialized care that would require the supplies Dr. Anderson purchased. They listed these clinics, planning to call or visit each one. This strategic shift in their search efforts focused their energy and resources on the most likely places where Ollie could be, optimizing their chances of finding him. Feeling exhausted, they decided to take a short break at a nearby diner. Over cups of coffee, they shared stories about Ollie and the joy he brought into their lives. This moment of reflection reinforced their emotional bond and rekindled their resolve to find him. Each memory shared was a reminder of why they couldn't give up their search. The conversation in the diner, filled with laughter and tears over past memories, strengthened their determination. They found solace in their shared experiences, which served as a powerful motivator. Finishing their coffee, they stood up, feeling more committed than ever to finding Ollie and understanding the circumstances that led to his disappearance. Back at their table, they laid out a map and marked the clinics that fit the criteria based on the pet store owner's clue. They divided the list, planning to start their visits first thing in the morning. This more focused approach was a direct result of the new information they had received, and they felt hopeful that they were getting closer to finding Ollie. A call early in the morning from a clinic on the town's outskirts brought the news Mary and Samantha had been hoping for. The clinic had information about Ollie, igniting a new spark of hope. With little hesitation, they prepared to leave, driven by the possibility of finally finding Ollie and bringing him home safely. They gathered their things quickly, their movements swift and purposeful. There was no time to waste. Every second mattered in their race against time to reach Ollie. The urgency of the situation was clear. propelling them forward with a single-minded focus on rescuing their beloved pet and friend. The drive to the clinic was tense, filled with anxious energy. Mary and Samantha took turns driving, their thoughts focused on Ollie. They discussed the best approach to take once they arrived, trying to prepare for any scenario. The journey, usually mundane, now felt like the most important trip of their lives. Upon reaching the clinic, they hurried from the car to the entrance, their hearts racing with anticipation. They were finally here, at the place that could hold the answers they desperately sought. Their eagerness to see Ollie and ensure his well-being was palpable, driving them to move quickly towards the clinic's doors. During the drive, they had discussed various outcomes, trying to brace themselves for what they might find. This preparation was crucial, helping them stay grounded amidst the whirlwind of emotions. As they stepped into the clinic, they felt somewhat ready to face whatever awaited them, their bond strengthened by the journey they had undertaken together. As soon as they saw Dr. Anderson, Mary didn't hesitate to confront him with a barrage of questions about Ollie. Her voice was firm, her questions sharp, reflecting the worry and frustration that had been building up inside her. Dr. Anderson, taken aback, realized the seriousness of Mary's concerns and prepared to explain the situation, recognizing the need to address her fears directly. Mary's emotions overflowed as she spoke with Dr. Anderson, her words laced with the stress of not knowing about Ollie's condition. Her insistence on answers painted a vivid picture of her deep connection with Ollie, showcasing how much she cared for her pet. The tension in the room was palpable, with every word from Mary underscoring the gravity of her worry and attachment. She firmly asked Dr. Anderson to take her to Ollie, wanting to see him with her own eyes and understand exactly what was happening. Mary's demand for transparency and clarity was unwavering, highlighting her need for straightforward answers about her beloved pet's situation. Dr. Anderson nodded, acknowledging her right to know, and led the way, with Mary following closely behind. As they walked towards where Ollie was being kept, Mary's initial anger began to give way to anxious concern. Her quick strides and focused gaze were indicative of her shifting emotions, now centered more on Ollie's well-being than on the frustration she had felt earlier. The closer they got, the more her concern for Ollie's health became the dominant emotion, overshadowing her anger. Throughout the confrontation, Samantha stood by Mary's side, offering silent support. Her presence was a constant reminder of their shared journey and concern for Ollie. Samantha's role, though quieter, was crucial, providing Mary with the strength to face Dr. Anderson and demand answers. Together, they made a strong team, united in their mission to find out what happened to Ollie and ensure his safety. In the consultation room, Dr. Anderson immediately apologized to Mary and Samantha for the stress caused. He explained that his actions, though abrupt, were necessary to ensure Ollie's well-being. His sincere tone and clear concern for Ollie's health helped to ease the tension, showing his professional dedication to his animal patients and their worried owners. Dr. Anderson elaborated on why he acted with such urgency, explaining that Ollie's condition required immediate attention. His detailed explanation helped Mary and Samantha understand the situation better, justifying his swift actions from a medical perspective. This revelation shed light on the vet's seemingly mysterious behavior, highlighting the importance of quick intervention in certain health situations. As Dr. Anderson spoke, Mary began to understand the situation from a new perspective, bridging the gap between her initial anger and the vet's intentions. The explanation provided much-needed clarity, allowing Mary to see the reasons behind Dr. Anderson's urgent actions and how they were in Ollie's best interest. This understanding was a crucial step towards resolving the tension. Throughout the conversation, Dr. Anderson's primary focus remained on Ollie's health, underscoring his commitment to providing the best care possible. This focus on well-being highlighted the vet's dedication to his work and his patients, reassuring Mary and Samantha that Ollie was in good hands. Their worries began to ease, knowing that Dr. Anderson's actions were driven by concern for Ollie's health. The dialogue between Mary, Samantha, and Dr. Anderson served as a turning point, resolving previous misunderstandings and fostering a path towards mutual understanding and reconciliation. By the end of their conversation, the initial strain had lessened, paving the way for a constructive discussion about Ollie's condition and the next steps in his care. The atmosphere in the room became one of cooperation and shared concern for Ollie's well-being. Dr. Anderson began to share Ollie's health issues, explaining how Max's persistent hugging was actually a sign of something more serious. Mary listened intently, surprised to learn that what they had interpreted as affection was Max sensing Ollie's distress. This revelation shifted Mary's understanding, turning a moment of perceived tenderness into a critical clue about Ollie's health. The vet detailed how Max's behavior was a protective mechanism, indicating his awareness of Ollie's illness. Mary and Samantha were taken aback, realizing the depth of the bond between the two cats. This understanding added a new layer of complexity to their story, showcasing the remarkable ways animals communicate and care for each other. Mary's initial shock gave way to a deep sense of gratitude towards Max for his protective instincts. Her feelings of grief over Max's loss were now intertwined with admiration for his final, caring act. This shift in perspective was a poignant reminder of the unspoken bonds animals share and the silent ways they look out for one another. Dr. Anderson used this moment to educate Mary and Samantha about the often misunderstood signals pets give, emphasizing the importance of paying attention to these subtle cues. Their conversation provided valuable insights into animal behavior, encouraging a deeper understanding and appreciation for the ways pets communicate their needs and concerns. Let's honor the love and care shown by Mary and Max by getting this video to 10,000 likes. Your support helps us share more stories that highlight the incredible bonds and instincts of our beloved pets. As the discussion continued, Mary felt her anger dissolve, replaced by a profound gratitude towards Dr. Anderson for his diligence and towards Max for his instinctual care. This emotional evolution was significant, marking a transformation in her understanding and connection to her pets. Mary's journey from frustration to appreciation underscored the complex emotions involved in caring for animal companions. Dr. Anderson detailed Ollie's health issues, explaining the necessity of prompt treatment. This clarification shed light on his actions, underscoring the urgency of the situation. Mary and Samantha listened intently, gaining a clearer understanding of why Dr. Anderson had to act swiftly. The explanation helped them grasp the gravity of Ollie's condition and the critical need for immediate care. Dr. Anderson then apologized for not communicating more openly about Ollie's condition. He explained his dilemma between taking immediate action and providing full disclosure to Mary. His sincere apology highlighted the ethical considerations veterinarians often face, emphasizing his commitment to Ollie's health above all. Mary and Samantha appreciated his honesty, understanding the difficult position he was in. Hearing Dr. Anderson's explanation and apology, Mary's feelings transitioned from anger to understanding and then to relief. She recognized the vet's intentions were in Ollie's best interest, which helped her process her emotions more fully. This journey from frustration to comprehension reflected Mary's deep love for her pets and her ability to empathize with the challenges faced by their caretakers. Dr. Anderson expressed his primary focus was on preventing further loss for Mary by ensuring Ollie received the necessary care quickly. This compassionate approach resonated with Mary as she realized the vet's actions were motivated by a desire to protect her from experiencing another heartbreak. The conversation underscored the vet's dedication to both the well-being of his animal patients and the emotional welfare of their owners. As the discussion concluded, Mary felt a profound sense of gratitude towards Dr. Anderson for his decisive actions. This resolution brought a sense of closure and relief, easing the tension that had built up. Mary and Samantha now understood the complexities of the situation, appreciating the vet's efforts to care for Ollie. Their initial anxiety gave way to a hopeful outlook for Ollie's recovery and well-being. Ollie's treatment was a success, and his health began to improve steadily. Mary watched with a mixture of relief and joy as Ollie regained his strength and playful spirit. This progress was a beacon of hope, symbolizing not just his recovery, but also the possibility of new beginnings. Mary felt an immense gratitude towards everyone who had played a part in Ollie's journey back to health. Mary saw Ollie's recovery as a final, loving gift from Max. Reflecting on their shared moments, she realized the depth of their bond and how it continued to influence her life even after Max's passing. This realization brought a sense of comfort, knowing that Max's protective spirit lived on through Ollie's renewed health and vitality. It was a poignant reminder of the enduring impact pets have on our lives. Inspired by her experiences, Mary decided to volunteer at a local animal shelter, dedicating her time to helping other animals in need. It was here that she met a lively kitten that reminded her so much of Max's spirit. Deciding to adopt the kitten, she introduced it to Ollie, and soon a new friendship blossomed between them. This act of kindness was a tribute to Max's memory and his influence on her life. The journey with Ollie and the loss of Max led Mary to reflect deeply on the lessons learned about love, loss, and the healing power of companionship. She felt a profound gratitude for the moments shared with both pets, recognizing how much they had transformed her life. This period of reflection was cathartic, offering her a greater appreciation for the bonds we form with our animal friends. Mary made a promise to herself and to the memory of Max and Ollie to spread kindness and love in honor of the deep connections they shared. She realized the impact pets have on our lives, teaching us about unconditional love and the importance of caring for those who depend on us. This commitment to keeping their legacy alive was a testament to the enduring bonds between pets and their owners.